inside, and right 3. Left 3, then hairpin right. 40, right 5, open, into left. 18, open. Right 3, into left 3, and 40. Right 3. 40, left 5, and hairpin right. Barrier in. Deep middle, jump, through water. Right 2, long, trees inside. Then left, keep right, on crest, and jump, through water. Left 3, rocks inside, into. Left 4, then right 3, then 100, into right 5, 40, left 5, and hairpin right, barrier inside, 40, right 5,
30 over bumps, caution left 6 on long small jumps, into left 6, 100, left 4 over crest, 1, go, 150, right 2, into left 2, to right 4 long, into left 2 long, into right 2 long, left 4.
I was born in Haguenau in Alsace, around 30 kilometers to the north of Strasbourg.
Right 4 long, tightens 350. Right 3 plus and left 650. Bump 50. Right 4, left 3 minus, into right 4.
Short, 30, right 7, keep in, action, left 6, tightens 3, over junction, 40, right 4, avant, cut, 50, 2, short, and caution, left 5, short, into right 7, keep in, into left 6, 2, short, into right 1, keep in, and left 2, into junction, opens, long, 30, and right 3, short, opens, into left 2, 30, right 5, keep out, 30. Left 4, keep in, into right 5, don't cut, into left 6, over crest, brake, open hairpin left, 60, junction, acute hairpin right, don't cut, 2, keep in, 30, right 3, don't cut, into left 6, keep in, don't cut, right 1, into left 1, caution, narrows, and right 3, into kinks. Caution, right 3, over crest, don't cut, into left 2, into right 2, and right 4, tightens. Into left 70. Caution, junction, right 2, and left 8, long, tight.
Right 6, don't cut, into left 4, into right 3, and left 6 over crest, right 5 past junction, and past junction, right 6, 60, right 6, left 5 crest, right 6 crest, left 6 dip, 100, right 4, into left 1, bump on exit, dip, don't cut, right 5 over bumps, left 5, right 6, 60, bump up immediate, open hairpin right, keep in, right 6. Into left 2, don't cut, 150, left 4. And right 6 over crest. Right 3, and left 1 through dip. Immediate right 3 over crest, deceptive. Right 6 over bump, 80. Left 5 over bump, 60. Right 6. Right 5, into left. Into
left 5 and right 5 and left 4, right 4 opens, left 3 and right 6 tightens to 4 and left 6 tightens into right 3 over crest left 6 short 30, left 5 over crest,
keep right of a jump maybe into 6 left, 30, slow 4 left, into unseen 1 right, opens, keep right over 80, unseen 4 left, 30, 5 left, 60 over bump to 4 left long, small cut, 50, 3 right long, opens, into cut 4 left, 4 right, into 3 left tighten small cut, into keep right over 50, 4 right, 100. Into 6 left 80, 6 left long of a jump maybe, slow 30, 5 left long, tightens 4, into 5 right of a crest.
Into left 4, narrows 30, acute hairpin right 30, kinks 30. At left over crest, at right, tightens 2, 30. Right 4, keep into left 3, short into right 4, and left 2, short. Into right 4, into left 3, short. Left 6 tightens into right 5, don't cut, and right 4 short, into left 4, into kings, into left 4, tightens into flat right. And right 3 over jump, keep in. Into left 4, into right 5. And left 3 tightens and right 4, don't cut into left 4. And left 3 tightens and open into left 3, open long. Left 5 long over crest into right 5 short. Left 3 tightens into right 3 short into fast kinks over crest 50. Left 4 tightens 80. Right 3 keep into left 5 at junction. And caution flat left tightens 3 over crest.
Right 4, tighten, small cut, into left 3, small cut, and right 2, small cut. Into bumps, left 4, narrows, and left 4, short. Into right 6, short, to left 4, short, and left 4, keep in, 100. Right 2, tree in, and right 5, short. And left 5 into right 4, tightens. And left 6, long, don't cut.
Right, pass junction and 5 left, 30, 5 left, don't cut and late, hairpin right, 40, 6 right, 30, 3 left short, into 3 right, half long, to 6 right, half long, brake, to left of a crest, 80, 3 right, keep in, 40, 1 left, tightens, 80, 6 right short, of a crest, 60. Left of a crest, 100. Slight right, into 6 left. To 5 right of a crest, opens, 70. Square right, onto cobbles. And 6 right, long, 60. 1 left, cut. And 3 right, opens, keep in, 60. Slowing, 6 right into 4 left, 50, 4 right, half long, and 3 left, 120, 4 left, keep in, and 6 right, through dip, 50, slowing, crest, 40, 1 left.
And left 3 into right 3.
Right 4 very long, 90.
Caution, right 3.
Right 4 over crest. Keep left through dip.
The right 4 long, 100.
Five, 200, narrows. Left 5.
Left 50, slight left. Into crest, 30.